Okay.
Yes, it is audible, sir.
Yeah, it is now audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Very warm welcome to you, sir, in the program.
Can we start this session, ma'am? Yes.
Yes, yes, Dr. Somvir.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. And today we have this second session of second day about the climate change and technological interventions in this current scenario. So, as a part and ongoing greenhouse gas emission take their inevitable toll on the climate adaptations, which refers to the finding and implementing sound ways to adjusting to the adverse impact of climate change. That is becoming an urgent priority along with the mitigation of climate change. So we have with us Dr. S.D. Attri from Indian Meteorological Department to shed some light on the problem of climate change and technological interventions in this present scenario. So without further ado, with lots of requests, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Attri as our eminent and novel scholar for to address this August gathering in this session. So Dr. Attri is presently working as Additional Director General of Meteorology in Indian Meteorological Department, New Delhi. And he has involved in research area including climate change, environment, urban meteorology, agromet modeling, and international activities. He has felicitated and awarded commendation certificate by the Honorable Prime Minister of India in November 2007 for his contribution to the work of Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is a joint winner of Nobel Peace Prize in 2007. And he has been member of Commission of Atmospheric Sciences Management Group of India Meteorological Organization, Geneva, Switzerland, primary contact of Global Atmosphere Watch in the country, and the expert member task force of Global Framework for Climate Services of World Meteorological Organization, United Nations. And he has also served as member of Environmental Appraisal Committees for Environmental Clearance, and has published more than 110 research papers, meteorological monographs, books, reports in national and international journals. And he has been awarded with the Best IMD Officer in 2010 and Pride of University in 2018 by Guru Jambheshwari University of Science and Technology. With this brief introduction, I am delighted to invite Sir to address this August gathering.
Thank you, Dr. Somvir, for nice introduction, and thanks, Dr. Both, for giving me this opportunity to interact with this August community. And good afternoon to all of you. And I can see that 125, 26 participants are there. So you are aware that COVID situation is going on, and it has taught us many things. It has changed the life of the whole world. Not only human beings, they are being impacted. Our environment is also is under influence of this pandemic. And during the course, how climate change has been affected, what are the challenges, technological interventions, and how we contribute. Particularly, climate is a subject which affects all of us. So I will be making a presentation. I am just sharing that now. So, is it okay?
Yes, it's fine, sir. It's visible.
Okay.
You are audible.
Thank you very much. So, climate change and technological interventions under current scenarios. One thing we should remember that World Economic Forum is an international body which brings report every year on 15th January. And according to this year's report, they prioritize 10 areas which have maximum impact in that year. Every year they give 10 top areas of the sectors in the world, like these 10 areas: extreme weather, climate action, failure, natural disaster, biodiversity loss, and human-made environmental disasters. All these 5 top most challenges and risks, they are related to environment, and others you may be knowing. Most of you are young, that data fraud, cyber attacks, and even asset bubble or water crisis, these are there. But all the 5 things, they are related to environment, and even because it is impacting all of us during these 20 years between 1998 and 2017, 5,26,000 people lost their lives, and lots of loss, more than $3.47 trillion. Even insurance industry had huge losses due to these extreme weather events. So today's world, climate extreme or extreme weather events, they are number 1 as far as climate impacts are concerned. Biggest loss, biggest impacts is due to extreme weather events. And these are the main factors which are impacting our environment: climate change, global warming. Many people take climate change and global warming more or less synonymous. Then air pollution, because we are in mega cities, and Delhi and NCR, Faridabad and Delhi, they are same as far as pollution is concerned. Overpopulation, this is big problem, and this needs more discussion. Deforestation, everybody knows. And now new entrant is the COVID-19 impact, how it is impacting us. As far as climate change is concerned, this is very new subject, and it is only 41 years old. First World Climate Conference was held in Geneva, Switzerland in 1997 to take stock whether there is any science behind the climate change. People agreed, scientists agreed that climate change is happening. This is a reality, and there is science behind this. Then Second World Climate Conference in 1992 to make political class aware that we should do something for the climate change, and resulted in the formation of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Because political leaders, president, prime minister, or your environment minister, they are going to give money. And third meeting held in 2009, that whatever money, whatever even single penny we are spending must be for societal benefits and how climate service can be given. Remember 2 things. You talk anybody, he will tell something, climate change or climate, people are mixing with this. But remember one thing, there are 2 things. What is climate change or what is climate variability? Climate variability is like above or below the mean. One year temperature is increasing, another year is decreasing, like that. This is not climate change. This is climate variability. But as far as climate change is concerned, deviation from mean magnitudes, like average temperature of September of say Faridabad is say 25 degrees centigrade. For last 10, 20, 30 years, it is either more than 25 or less than 25. It should be only one direction, either increase or decrease, then we can call it is a climate change. Phase difference from mean periodicity. Mean, how much, suppose monsoon is 100 days system. It is increasing more than 100 or less than 100. It should be for longer periods. And altered frequency of occurrence, like average cyclones in India are 5. If we are getting more than 5 or less than 5 every year, it should be one direction. So these are 3 things which categorize climate, whether this is climate change or climate variability. And like physical environment, we can monitor climate forcing. You can say net radiation. If radiation is increasing, net radiation, it is going towards warming, and then if it is decreasing, it is going, we are going towards cooling, and air quality is deteriorating in most of the cities. You are well aware, and integrated impacts. See one thing, why I showed this figure. If we construct, say, last 4 lakh years temperature and CO2 data, remember one thing, there are 3 main gases which cause global warming. We call them greenhouse gases: CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. And 65% contribution is CO2. So more temperature, more related to CO2 only. So during last 4 lakh years, when CO2 was high, temperature was high, CO2 was lower, temperature was lower. Now, we have seen during last 4 lakh years, temperature increase of the order of 4 degrees centigrade. Dinosaurs become extinct. Now, last 100 years, temperature has increased by 1 degree centigrade. Why so much hue and cry? Why people are so concerned? We have seen 4 degree. But there are 2 reasons to this. Earlier change was in lakhs of years, thousands to lakhs of years. Now this is in hundreds of years. So change has become very fast. How atmosphere will adjust, and we are getting impacts like daily basis, you say. And second thing, in last 10 lakh years, CO2 never crossed 300 ppm. Now it is already 4007 ppm. So already we have pumped lots of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Impacts will be there. Further changes are very fast. Remember one thing, if change during 1000 years is less than 1 degree, it is gradual change. Don't worry. If it is more than 1 degree in 1000 years, then it is cause of worry, it is cause of concern. And I have mentioned that already in 100 years, we have more than 1 degree centigrade, 1.1 degree centigrade, 1.0 and 1.0 degree centigrade. So say 1000 years, it may be more than 10 or 15 degrees centigrade. 1 degree, everybody is perplexed, or everybody is concerned. So if it is more than 10 or 15 degree, then what will happen to the world? You can imagine. Another thing, like there are different weather parameters. If they are in the minutes, say hours, week, we generally call these are the weather things. But if these are decades and centuries, they are climate change. And between these, say 2 weeks, months, season or years, this is climate variability. So we have to understand what's the difference between weather, climate variability, and climate change. So if we go with the physical process system in the climate, there are so many factors. They are interacting with each other. They are impacting our climate system, be it incoming solar radiation or scattered by aerosols, then absorption by atmosphere by clouds, even emissions of the long wave, condensation, turbulence, snow, soil moisture, evapotranspiration, sensible heat flux, rain, soil moisture. So many these factors are there. I've listed 20 factors, and they are interacting with each other and impacting our climate. So climate change, I just mentioned, it can be due to both natural factors, it can be due to human factors, we generally call anthropogenic activities or anthropogenic factors. So climate change is due to both human induced as well as naturally induced. As far as natural climate change is there, major factor is volcanic eruptions. I mentioned that 3 gases, CO2, methane, nitrous oxide, they are greenhouse gases, they cause warming. Opposite to this is dust particles, they cause cooling. So if lots of volcanoes are there, lots of dust into the atmosphere, they scatter the radiation and go to make cooling of the atmosphere. So it is opposite to the greenhouse gas. So natural cause of variability, one is volcanic eruption, second is sunspot cycle. Every 11 years cycle is there. We get more spots on the sun. When more spots will be there, there will be less radiation on Earth, and that will be towards cooling phase, but less spots towards warming phase. But this factor has very less impact from 0.1 to 1% maximum, but generally 0.1 to 2%. So this is not much cause of the climate change. This is the main cause of the climate change. In our geography books, in schools or colleges, we must have read that what is shape of our Earth. We just used to learn that it is elliptical or andakar. But nowadays, this Milankovitch was the scientist who gave these 3 are the regions for natural climate change. One is eccentricity, periodicity of 1 lakh years. So relative shape of the earth changes from the circular to elliptical. When elliptical is there less radiation and circular directly more radiation. This will be the more warming phase. Then second is angle. In geography books, we used to hear that earth is inclined and at an angle of 22.5, but now it varies from 21.8 to 23.4 degrees centigrade. So angle also changes. And third is precision. When it is nearest to the sun, we get more radiation, and if it is away from the sun, less radiation. So these are the three main reasons which are responsible for climate change, which I mentioned in 4 lakh years, 10 lakh years, or say crores of the year. Earth has been changing from the जिसको हम कहते हैं आग का गोला या snowball earth, जो पूरी when it was covered with the ice, so it keep on changing in lakhs or billions of years. But these are the main reasons for natural change. But what we are finding changes are very much, and I mentioned these three gases, CO2, methane, and nitrous oxide. Earlier their concentration, pre-industrial, we generally take before 1750, not much industry was there, but after that industrialization has taken place. And this is the latest figure now: CO2 407, methane 1869 ppb, CO2 is in ppm, and N2 331. And CFC is chlorofluorocarbon, I mentioned 0. Why? Because they don't occur in nature. They are all factory made, industry made, like coolant or refrigerator. So now their concentration is there. But remember this last point, this very important: global warming potential, GWP. If we take 1 unit of CO2, methane is 21 times more warmer, same amount. N2O 310 times more warmer, and in some of the CFCs, they are 23,900 times more warmer. Even if small amount of these CFCs, they are very dangerous into the atmosphere. Like weather and climate have no boundaries. What is happening in Pakistan, it will be impacting us. What is happening in India, it will be impacting Bangladesh or other countries. So we need data from all over the world, from all over the countries. So atmosphere data, we need oceanic data as well as land data. But we can't go to Pakistan, or they can't come to us to what will be done? So there must be some international agencies to take data of all these parameters all over the world. So these 4 agencies were given responsibility for collecting all these data. One is UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, World Meteorological Organization, UNESCO, all students know, and then ICSU, International Council of Scientific Unions. They are taking data all over the globe. They are compiling data because all Met services and other data who are monitoring agencies, who are data monitoring agencies, they are providing data to these agencies, and they compile and provide reports. And if we take this IPCC Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change latest report, its data is from more than 10,000 stations. Red means temperature is increasing and blue means decreasing. Figure clearly shows that we are heading towards the warming. So most part of the world, they are in the red category. And even if we go with the latest World Met Organization 2020 publications, so temperature is continuously increasing, and I mentioned that it is around 1.1 degrees centigrade already we have covered. And this is the like anomaly. This is from the NOAA 1882. This is from 1880 to 2019. So 2019 was the 0.93, and 2016 is 0.94. So warmest year in the instrumental area, still we take 2016, then second comes 19, and these all the 10 years, they are in current centuries. So every year is breaking the record of past year. So we can visualize that current century, 21st century, since 1880, we are getting more and more warming. Even if we say take data for 10 years from 2006 to 2015, warming was of the order 0.86 degrees centigrade. If we take more recent data, 2009 to 28.93, and last 5 years, 1.04, which are from IPCC 1.5. As far as India is concerned, highest since instrumental record 1901. 2016 is also highest for India, like world. It is also highest, but as far as 2019 is concerned, this was the 7th warmest year. We had lots of rain in the later part of the season last year. If we go with the rainfall, green mean increase in rainfall and other color mean decrease in our. There is no pattern like temperature. Somewhere it is increasing, somewhere decreasing, but total remains the same. And suppose if we take what are the climate change indicators, either we measure with the instruments, thermometer like that, or we infer from the plants or from the animals or from the glaciers. So if we take this picture of Uppsala Glacier from Argentina, upper panel is 1928 and lower is 2004. Most of the snow cover that has disappeared. This is one signal that something is happening to ice cover, and warming has been attributed main factor. Take another picture, see from the Rehon Glacier. This is 1815 and 2001 from Switzerland. Lots of the ice was there, but most of the ice has disappeared. These three are the indicators of the climate change, mean at global level, even at regional levels or national level, temperatures are increasing. So this is one sign of the climate change. Global sea level is also rising. And you find many times reports in newspapers or TV, sea level is rising and this sea will be under ocean and like that. So many sensations are there. Northern hemisphere snow cover is decreasing. So these, all the three parameters, they are pointing that climate change is happening, globe is warming up. And if we take proportion of the heavy rainfalls, because last 10-15 years, those are in our mind, like Mumbai rainfall, huge, Uttarkasi, Chennai rainfall, then Bangalore rainfall, or Jodhpur rainfall, so many places, even Srinagar rainfall. We are finding heavy rainfall events. In this city, this place, lots of flooding is there. So these blue plus shows that we are having heavy rainfall events in many parts of the world. Only few areas of Africa and this part, frequency of increasing is less. We are getting less rainfall. Otherwise, most of the places, whether it is North America, Southern America, Europe, China, India, and Australia, we are getting more and more extremely heavy rainfall events. Like I mentioned, there must be some agency which can have monitoring of the data all over the world, analysis of data, receipt of the data. Similarly, with First World Climate Conference, this Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change that was established in 1989 by World Met Organization and UNEP, United Nations Environment Program, and given responsibility to address climate change. It has brought out 5 reports so far. You can say IPCC is reports are Bible in the climate change. They brought out first assessment report in 1990, second 1995, third 2001, and fourth assessment report for 2017. Each report contains 3 parts. Working group 1, what is science of the climate change. Working group 2, impacts, adaptation and vulnerability. And third is the mitigation of the climate change. So around 3,000 pages, one book is there. So and synthesis of all, we call it synthesis reports. So 5 reports have already come. Work is going on 6 reports. So working group science report will come in April 2021. Then working group 3, mitigation, July 2021. Then impacts, working group 2, October 2021. And their, you can say, synthesis report, or this abridged report will come in June 2022. This is the slide for which IPCC was given Nobel Peace Prize, because for the first time in 2007, IPCC came with the authoritative statement that today's climate change is due to human activities. Earlier people were, some agree, some don't agree. No, this is due to human factors, this is due to natural factors. This lowest graph is like due to natural factors. If human actions, humans have no role in climate change, our temperature should be here in the green. But this black is the observation and red is observations due to anthropogenic as well as natural. Both are same, both are nearly matching, both are nearly same. So this gives that today's climate is due to human activity. So we are pumping lots of greenhouses and other agents. So in December 2007, they were given Nobel Peace Prize, and even Honorable Prime Minister called these 25 authors from India who were part of this IPCC from India. He gave them commendation certificate. World, I mentioned that these 4 agencies, they are compiling data, but as far India is concerned, Indian Meteorological Department established in 1875. We are monitoring network for continuous monitoring. Even for last, say, 120 years, we are having more than 100 stations, more than 100 years data. So that is available for research to all students, faculty and others. And to students and faculty for research, this is all free. We are having at present 550 manual observatories, where people are there, 680 automatic weather stations, 1350 automatic rain gauge stations. Then these are around 4,500 rain gauge stations from the state government, universities or colleges. They provide only rainfall data, rain gauge station is there, and we use in the preparations of rainfall statistics. Then radio someday, we have 43 instrument upper air data, and 26 radar systems are there for what will happen in next, say, 3 to 12 hours, and its forecast accuracy is very high. I mentioned that as far as the globe is concerned, 1 degree temperature increase is there, but if we take in India during last 119 years, from 1901 to 2019, there is increase of the temperature of the order of 0.61. So India is warming up, globe is around 1 degree, but we are around 0.61. But there is no doubt India is also warming up. Second, if we take minimum temperature data, minimum is decreasing, less it is around 0.2 degrees centigrade. Average is 0.6, minimum is 0.2. It means something will be with the maximum temperature. So maximum temperature is 1.05. So maximum temperature is increasing with higher intensity, but both temperature is increasing. So 0.61 degrees is increased during last 100 years. Another thing, like heat waves, when temperature is higher, definitely there will be increase in heat waves. If we take data up to 1990, less than 500 heat waves instances were observed. But if we go to up to 2000, so 580, and if we take another decade, so 670, it means number of heat waves, they are increasing. If we take special distribution of this temperature, red mean warming and blue color mean cooling. So except these 2 small areas, most of the country we are finding India is warming up, temperature is increasing in most part of the country. Second important part of the climate change is rainfall. So more than 75% of the rainfall we get during monsoon season, like 4 months of June to September. So generally what is pattern during monsoon? Annual pattern is same. Green mean warming and green mean increase in rainfall and red mean decrease in rainfall. Most of the areas of the countries we get increase, but this particularly central part in these two areas, and in the annual this rainfall we are getting less rainfall. It is more serious because this central part of the country, this is more rainfall. If rain is there, crops will be there. No rainfall, definitely crops will be filled. So this is cause of worry for India, but there is no pattern. Total rain remains same. In some areas it is more, in some areas it is less. Total remains same. There is no trend-like temperature. But if we take season-wise, say January, February, winter season, or pre-monsoon season, March to May, or post-monsoon season, October to December, winter rainfall in India is decreasing, and it is compensated by post-monsoon season rainfall. This is cause of worry because we need some rain, particularly for our rabi crops, wheat and others, but this is decreasing. So this is a little worrisome. And I also mentioned that we are getting more and more heavy rainfall events. The rainfall is increasing in many parts. I again mentioned that total rain remains same. What does it mean, folks? Faridabad gets 60 centimeter rainfall in 10 events. In coming periods or at present, we are getting 60 or 65 centimeter, but say 6-7 events. So there will be more flooded, more drought within the seasons. So because heavy rainfall is there, we get more and more runoff. Water goes to seas and oceans, and it is not going into the ground. So that is big loss. And particularly small rainfall events, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter rainfall event, or half centimeter rainfall, so that light rainfall is there and all water may go to in the soil as percolation, we are getting less. So double loss is there. Number of events are less, rain events are less, and they are heavy, causing more floods, more loss. At the same time, less water is going into the earth, into the soil, and we are getting more and more problem of this underground water. So in even South Delhi and even NCR, lots of restrictions are there because water table is decreasing every year. So I've already shown you. And another things like drought, probability of moderate drought or severe drought, particularly this moderate drought, western parts of the country as well as this semi-arid regions, probability of moderate drought is there, but severe drought generally is seen more during western parts of the country. If you go with the thunderstorm are mainly in the northeastern India as well as this Bengal, Bihar, and some like up to Kerala. These two lines, this is thunderstorms are there. But tornadoes, Japan and America, lots of tornadoes are there, but we rarely get tornadoes in India, but generally, occasionally, rarely they are seen only in the northeastern part of the country. If you got this rainfall, I mentioned that during last, say, 119 years, if we go with this data, 23 drought years were there and 13 excess rainfall is there. Out of 23 drought years, 16 were El Nino years. आपने भी सुना होगा, अखबार में भी पढ़ा हुआ, टीवी पे देखता हो, कभी कभी बड़ी सेंसेशन पिक्चर आती है, एल नीनो आ जाएगा. इवन मैंने सुना है, खुद देखा है टीवी पे, एल नीनो मानसून को खा जाएगा. लोग ऐसे माने एल नीनो होगा सब खत्म हो गया. नहीं, हमें ये नहीं सोचना चाहिए. देखिए 2/3 टाइम्स पे एल नीनो है, ड्राउट है, बट देयर इज नो 1-to-1 कोरिलेशन. एल नीनो से ड्राउट के चांसेस 60%, 66% है. बट दिस इज नॉट ओनली द फैक्टर कि एल नीनो हो गया तो ड्राउट हो जाएगा. इस चीज का हमें ध्यान रखना. अब आइए सी सरफेस टेम्परेचर इन द इंडियन ओशन. सो टेम्परेचर ऑफ द I mentioned land is increasing, temperature of ocean is also increasing, and people attribute that fury of the cyclones, they are very high because sea surface temperature is increasing. That is one of the reason for more intense cyclones during recent years. Even heat wave and cold wave, I also showed that number is increasing. Their fury is increasing. We are getting more and more heat waves as well as cold waves. So more variability is there. More extremes are there. That is cause of worry for whole world. Either drought years or flood years, heavy rainfall or low rainfalls. So we are not getting more normal years, either extreme categories at the upper level or at the lower level. And even if we go with the cyclones, number of cyclones are decreasing since 1891, which we have the data, but their power, their fury, their loss power is increasing. Now, this system of the prediction is almost, I can say that one of the best in the world. Perfect in this part, IMD is the best. So you can say loss of the life is negligible, whether it was Amphan or since 2013 it was Philene. You will find that loss is almost negligible. Last super cyclone before this Amphan, this was 1919 when more than 10,000 people lost their lives in Odisha. Now it has come down to 10, 20 or less than 100. So government is taking lots of precautions, state, central and all agencies, universities, students, NDMA, all are taking part to save people and property. So this is one publication, Climate Profile of India. This is freely available on our website. So all these trends, they are in this book, and it has formed part of the national communication, which we call NETCOM of the Ministry of Environment and Forest. That is, I should say, Indian Bible. Now, people were asking, India is a big country. Many states were saying, what will happen with our states or to our states? We are interested in that, leave India. Then we carried out a study taking data from 1951 to 2010 and found state level, most of the states in the red category, that temperature is increasing. But these three states were there which were showing a decrease in temperature during last 100 years. But country as a whole, most of the states, they are warming up. But as far as rain is concerned, green again mean increase in rainfall and red mean decrease in rainfall. Particularly these three states, UP and central parts, there was decrease in the rainfall and some of the northeastern states. But total rain remains same, but some of the states like increase or decrease is there. State-wise trends are also there. And this is again publication freely available. What is state with each states, it contains data for month-wise, season-wise, and annual for each states. And we take more than 1,500 stations data. Another publication by Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, our sister organization under Ministry of Environment and Forest. June 2020, this report was published through Springer, and this is also available. This assessment of climate change over the Indian region during last 100 years. This is latest data is there, and anybody can download it and can have a look at the latest change in the climate. There are different factors, different parameters, science, impacts, and then different parameters, temperature, rainfall, and extremes. So we have seen climate change is happening over the globe. Climate change is happening over the India, but we are more interested what will happen in future. So now IPCC has brought out with these scenarios. If we take all precautions, world will be like left panel. Some impacts will be there. They will be under control. If regional concentration pathway, if we agree, like in 2015, last Paris Agreement was there, we should not allow to increase of the temperature more than 2 degrees centigrade. We should try for 1.5 degrees centigrade. What is sensitivity of this 2 degrees centigrade? कहीं हवा से नहीं आया ये 2 डिग्री का मतलब क्या? ये 3 भी हो सकता था, 1 भी हो सकता था. Reason is, if we can restrict below 2 degrees centigrade. Most of the islands and 40% of the Bangladesh will be saved. If it is more than 2 degrees centigrade, many islands, 40% of Bangladesh will be under the ocean. So that is why they are crying. कभी मालदीव्स मीटिंग करता है समुंदर में, कभी आपका नेपाल माउंट एवरेस्ट पे करता है, because those are more under threat. And the right panel, like if we don't do anything, world will be will be looking very red, and temperature can go more than 5 degrees or 5 or more than 5 degrees centigrade. But as far as the rain is concerned, not much difference. Most of the models, they are showing that rain is not going to decrease, but big catch is there. Lots of the variability is there. Will be there somewhere years we will have more rainfall, some years we will have less rainfall, more drought, more flood, more loss will be there. But as far as total rain remains same many times, because this university is mainly related to engineering and technology. I request all of you that, because we will be getting more rain in the coming years. So develop technology so that each drop of water can be conserved. कम से कम लॉस नहीं होना चाहिए, समुद्र में नहीं जाना चाहिए, ज्यादा आया है ऐसा नहीं हम रन ऑफ में जाने दें, हमें कुछ करना चाहिए, पानी की एक बूंद भी वेस्ट नहीं हो. और जो मैंने दिखाया ये इसका टेबल है, 2.6 is the best scenario and 4.5 we take this the middle scenario. If we will not do anything, temperature can increase up to 4.8 degrees centigrade, and even sea level can rise up to 81 centimeter. So there is definite need that all of us must do something. Then I mentioned that Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, they are carrying out different simulations because IPCC has many models. Even hundreds of the models, they are being run in different parts of the world. Now IMD, our ministry, is also part of the CMIP 6. The 6th assessment report will be coming, I mentioned, in next 2021. So these simulation runs with the CO2, they will be part of the next assessment report of IPCC. So total 2419 years, lots of runs have been made, lots of computing facilities, resources have been used. So the results of these experiments will be part of the globe. For the first time, Indian data will be going to the global data. So I mentioned up to the globe what will be happening in India if we go with 3 scenarios. 2020 we are already entering, 2050, 2080, all the 8 models being used by Indian scientists. Also temperature will continuously be increasing, around 4 degrees centigrade temperature increase will be there. So none of the models shows it will decrease. All models shows the temperature will increase, and most of the models also show that rainfall will also increase. We were very happy. Okay, बरसात तो ज़्यादा मिलेगी, but I mentioned that catch is there. Less number of instances, more flood, more drought, heavy rainfall events will further increase. So engineers have lots of challenges, lots of tasks. You have to develop new technology so that each drop, whether it is heavy rainfall, we should have such structures that we don't allow any drop to be wasted into the oceans. Another thing, when I mentioned that CO2 is responsible for 65% of the climate change. So when we take this figure per capita income, US is highest emitter. Then Taiwan, Sweden, China. India is very less. See US and India. But US doesn't agree with this, and they bring this figure. We bring that figure. They bring this figure with that. Now China is number 1 emitter of the greenhouse gases, US number 2, Russia 3rd, and India comes at number 4. But still we are 1/5, 20% of the China. So lots of this greenhouse gases China is pumping at the maximum. US and China, they are more or less same. But they are not ready to put more and more money and lots of international negotiations are there. And you may be knowing that now sustainable development goals, this 17 goals have been identified by environmentalists, by all concerned, for removal of the poverty, then gender equality, clean water, health, zero hunger. But out of these 17, these 7, 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, and 15, they are related to environment. They are directly to sustainable development and environment. So we must protect environment. So 2015 is the landmark year, was the landmark year when the people agreed, different countries agreed that we must do something, and each country was given target. They were asked earlier, developed countries were having target of 5% reduction. They didn't do anything. US came out of the Kyoto Protocol of 1997, didn't do anything. And बाकी सबको कहते रहे नहीं, हम उनको कहते हैं देखिए आपने खराब किया है एनवायरनमेंट को, आप पैसा लगाइए, वो कहते नहीं खराब हो गया, सब पैसा लगाएं, हम क्यों लगाएं. We say common problem is common, but responsibility should be differentiated. आपने ज्यादा खराब किया, आप ज्यादा पैसा लगाइए. लेकिन इसी झगड़े में 20 साल चले गए हैं. तो 2015 में समझौता, सब कंट्री से पूछा आप क्या कर सकते हैं. तो सब कंट्रीज ने अपना अपना टारगेट लिया, चलिए हम इतना करेंगे, हम इतना करेंगे. इंडिया ने भी टारगेट लिया. लेकिन फॉर्चुनेट इज दैट नाउ दिस इज अ रियलिटी, बट अनफॉर्चुनेट America has not yet signed it, and 3-4 countries of his friendly nature, they have also not signed. But America is the biggest emitter, you know now, but they are not part of this. Now, out of 197 countries, 170 parties or 170 countries, they have ratified it and agreed that we must do something to reduce increase of temperature by 2 degrees centigrade. Try should be 1.5, but 2 should be maximum, so that we can save many islands and many people of the world. देखिए, climate change हमने देखा, global warming देखा, it is happening, it is a reality. हमारे पास ऑप्शन क्या है, इंजीनियर्स के पास ऑप्शन क्या है, what are science and technological intervention. ये 5 चीजें हैं जिसमें इंजीनियर्स कैन कंट्रीब्यूट a lot. एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी इंप्रूवमेंट, एफिशिएंसी होना चाहिए, ये वाटर यूज एफिशिएंसी हो, बिजली की एफिशिएंसी हो. हम बहुत 60% जो हमारी बिजली है कोयला से आती है. दैट इज अनदर सोर्स ऑफ द ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. उसको हमें कमी करना है. हमारे बल्ब में 100 वाट के 60 वाट के बहुत सारा वेस्टेज होता है. तो उसकी जो एनर्जी है, मिनिमम बिजली लगे, मैक्सिमम लाइट आए. तो एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी हमें बढ़ाना है. जो भी स्टार 1, स्टार 2, 3, 4, 5 जो अप्लायंसेस आ रही है, तो इसके ऊपर मेजरिंग हमें देना है. दूसरा क्या है, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी. सोलर है आपका, विंड एनर्जी, इसका मैं डिटेल थोड़ा और बताऊंगा. इसके ऊपर हमें ज्यादा ध्यान देना है. जब हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर गए तो हमने 2 टारगेट लिए कि हम अपना 33 से 35% CO2 एमिशन इंटेंसिटी को कम करेंगे. We have 135 करोड़ पीपल. कैसे करेंगे हम? हमें फैक्ट्रीज भी चाहिए, इंडस्ट्रीज भी चाहिए, तो कैसे करेंगे? इंडस्ट्री हम कम कर नहीं सकते, तो कैसे करेंगे? Then Prime Minister gave 2 options. One is the renewable. We will use more renewable energy, solar, wind, and others. And second thing, we will capture what is in the atmosphere, CO2 capture. Then the third point where technological intervention, nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is very safe to climate change. Unfortunately, this Fukushima, this nuclear accident of Japan has changed thinking all over the world. People are afraid of this, but with all precautions, this is also a good source of non-conventional energy for fighting climate change. I mentioned carbon capture and storage. जो हवा में है, plants लगा के we can capture that. हवा में total कम हो जाएगा. एंड अनदर थिंग्स, इकोनॉमिक फैक्टर्स, कितना पैसा है, देखिए पैसे बगैर कुछ भी नहीं होता, वी नीड मनी, हाउ मच मनी वी कैन स्पेयर विदाउट अफेक्टिंग आवर poverty programs, without hampering our sustainable development. खाना तो खिलाना है 135 करोड़ को, और अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगले 4 साल में चाइना को भी 23 के बाद हम ओवरटेक कर लेंगे. इंडिया विल बी द मोस्ट पॉपुलस कंट्री. पॉपुलेशन तेजी से बढ़ती जाएगी. वी मस्ट आल्सो थिंक टू रिड्यूस दिस पॉपुलेशन. तो हमारी बहुत सारी समस्या खत्म हो जाएंगी. तो कितना पैसा हमें इन चीजों के ऊपर भी देखना पड़ेगा. हमें ऐसा वर्ल्ड चाहिए. देखिए वी नीड डेवलपमेंट, चाहे मेट्रो है, चाहे इंडस्ट्री है, चाहे रेजिडेंसीज है, लोगों को चाहिए. बट हमारी इच्छा ये है सब कुछ ग्रीन हो, फ्लोरा एंड फोना बिल्कुल चमकता रहे. तो कैसा वर्ल्ड होगा? दोनों का बैलेंस चाहिए. ना हम लेफ्ट से जी सकते हैं, ना राइट से जी सकते हैं, क्योंकि आदमी को खाना भी चाहिए. तो इनका हमें सस्टेनेबल बैलेंस भी रखना पड़ेगा. तो नेशनल डिटरमाइंड कंट्रीब्यूशन, जैसे मैंने बताया था, इंडिया ने टारगेट लिया कि 33 से 35% हम अपनी इंटेंसिटी घटाएंगे, बाकी बाय 2030. और जो हमारा नॉन कन्वेंशनल और रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी है, अभी अराउंड 55 गीगावाट है, और इसको हम 2030 तक 175 गीगावाट तक लेके जाएंगे. This will be around 40% of this. More around 350 or so gigawatt is our consumption. So इसका 40% जो हमारा है, हमने इससे लेना है नॉन कन्वेंशनल से. दूसरा मैंने बताया पेड़ लगा के कर सकते हैं. तो टारगेट है 2.5 to 3 बिलियन टन CO2 इक्विवेलेंट जो है, बिलियन टन CO2 इक्विवेलेंट पेड़ लगा के करेंगे. तो पेड़ लगाने के लिए अब क्या होगा, कहां से लेके जमीन आएंगे? गवर्नमेंट इज नाउ डिस्कसिंग विद द रेलवेज, लाइनों के साथ लगा दें, जो जमीन खराब है वहां लगा दें. और आप तो सब स्टूडेंट हैं, देखिए हर आदमी जो है अपना बर्थडे मनाता है, और पेरेंट्स के वो क्या नाम, वो लोग अपनी एनिवर्सरी मनाते, खुद नहीं मनाए तो बच्चे मना देते. तो अपने एनिवर्सरी पे, बर्थडे पे एक एक पेड़ लगाएंगे तो 135 करोड़ पेड़ हो जाएंगे. तो हमें ये कन्विक्शन लेना चाहिए, एक पेड़ तो अपने बर्थडे पे लगाना ही लगाना है. और बाकी जो क्लाइमेट चेंज प्रोग्राम है, डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, जैसे ये अभी चल रहा है फैकल्टी डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम, इस तरह के प्रोग्राम हमें बहुत करने हैं. और स्टूडेंट टीचर मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेंथ है, सबसे बड़ा रिसोर्स है ये. यही हर आदमी तक इस मैसेज को ले जा सकते हैं. गवर्नमेंट अकेले कुछ नहीं कर सकती. सो जो टीचर स्टूडेंट का कॉम्बिनेशन है, जिसको मोस्ट स्ट्रॉन्ग कॉम्बिनेशन है, पब्लिक के पास लेकर जाना है, स्कूल स्टूडेंट्स का भी एक साथ ले सकते हैं. तो हर आदमी को इस थ्रेट के बारे में बनाना है. तो क्या क्या हमें बनाना है? क्लाइमेट फ्रेंडली क्लीनर पाथ, क्लीन टेक्नोलॉजी के ऊपर फोकस रखना है. एडिक्वेट फंडिंग फॉर इनिशिएटिव, जो गवर्नमेंट को भी देना है, हमें इसके लिए फंड का भी रखना पड़ता है. हमारा लाइफस्टाइल बहुत अच्छा है. राजस्थान में हमने कोई मरता आदमी नहीं देखा है हीट से, क्योंकि सिर को कवर करते हैं. तो हमारे जो लाइफस्टाइल अच्छे हैं, हम पेड़ों की भी पूजा करते हैं, हम एनिमल्स की भी पूजा करते हैं. इनको हमें जिंदा रखना है, हमने अपना अच्छा लाइफस्टाइल रखना है. और कटिंग एज टेक्नोलॉजी तो बनाना है. CFL 100 रुपए की आती है, इंजीनियर्स को करना है ये 15-20 रुपए की आ जाए. तो इस बारे में हमें मैक्सिमम ध्यान देना है. 2-3 स्लाइड और हैं. तो जो हमारे टारगेट्स हैं, जो बाय 2030 में बताया 40% नॉन कन्वेंशनल होगा. अगर विंड एनर्जी में जाए तो 2005 में सिर्फ 6 गीगावाट था. और टारगेट बाय 2020 60 गीगावाट. Little we are not achieving this, but target is that we must do all actions to achieve this. Biomass energy कुछ नहीं था, but by 2020 10 gigawatt target is there. Hydro from 32 to 100 gigawatt is there. Solar energy, that will be our main. By 2020 100 gigawatt should be there. And small hydro 5 gigawatt power. And by 2030 175 gigawatt. So these are the targets. Different departments and they are working on this to achieve this. देखिए कोई भी चीज काम करते हैं, चैलेंजेस होते हैं. स्टूडेंट के सामने एग्जाम का भी चैलेंज है, नई टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन का भी चैलेंज है. इवन क्लाइमेट चेंज को अगर एड्रेस करेंगे तो इसके भी चैलेंजेस है. हर चीज में, चाहे फार्मर्स हैं, कौन सी वैरायटी जिनका फर्क कम पड़ेगा हीटिंग से, क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंट कल्टीवर्स हैं, और फार्मर्स उनको अडॉप्ट करें, ये बहुत बड़ी चैलेंज है, उनको अवेयर करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि नई चीज को जब तक हमें पक्का नहीं है कि फायदा होगा, पीपल आर नॉट रेडी टू अडॉप्ट, तो वो एक चैलेंज हमें बताना पड़ेगा। ग्रीन टेक्नोलॉजी, और किस स्केल के ऊपर, सिटी स्केल पे या एक यूनिवर्सिटी स्केल पे या डिस्ट्रिक्ट स्केल पे या स्टेट्स, किस स्केल के ऊपर हम इसको कर सकते हैं। इवन जैसे बहुत सारे कंट्रीज हैं जहाँ छत के ऊपर सोलर पैनल लगाने लगा, जैसे टर्की या कई कंट्रीज हैं, ये पॉलिसी में भी होना चाहिए। इलेक्ट्रिक पावर व्हीकल, अब पूरा जोर है 2030 के बाद यही रहेंगे, तो इनके ऊपर भी फोकस रखना पड़ेगा। आइडेंटिफाइंग सुटेबल स्पेस, जगह तो नहीं, क्योंकि सोलर जो पैनल्स है, सोलर एनर्जी बहुत सारा स्पेस लेती है, स्पेस ही नहीं तो क्या करोगे, सोलर पैनल लगाने की छत है, वेस्ट लैंड है, क्योंकि अच्छी लैंड में तो हमने क्रॉप्स को भी उगाना है, तो उस जगह को ढूंढना पड़ेगा। कॉस्ट ऑफ जनरेशन ऑफ नॉन कन्वेंशनल एनर्जी, इसके भी कॉस्ट बहुत ज्यादा, पहले और ज्यादा थी, सोलर पैनल की कॉस्ट बहुत कम होनी चाहिए, बाकी इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स की कम होनी चाहिए, नए नए इस तरह के आपको टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करनी है इंजीनियर्स को। इंश्योरेंस इश्यू, देखिए नया काम करेंगे, फुल्ली कवर्ड विद इंश्योरेंस, लॉस हो जाए आदमी बिल्कुल बर्बाद नहीं हो। कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग प्रोग्राम्स, यूनिवर्सिटी में, कॉलेजेस में रेगुलर प्रोग्राम होने चाहिए लोगों के लिए, पब्लिक के लिए, कि भैया हमें करना चाहिए। सिटीजन्स को भी हमें एनकरेज करना है, क्योंकि वो हमारे इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट यूजर्स हैं, उनको भी हमें अवेयर करना है, इंक्रीज करना है। और इंक्रीज इन ग्रीन कवर, मैंने बताया पेड़ तो लगाने हैं, प्रेशर लैंड पे बढ़ेगा, लेकिन ग्रीन के बगैर कुछ बात बनने वाली नहीं है। सो दिस वाज ऑल फ्रॉम मी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर पेशेंट हियरिंग। सो कोई क्वेश्चन, देयर आर एनी क्वेश्चंस, देन you can ask any queries there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening and stimulating talk on this climate change, covering every aspect, means from the very basic concept of climate change, and even the differentiation of climate change with climate variability, even with the variability or elaborative compilation of data, even more than 100 years. So you have done a very wonderful means talk with the wonderful presentations, and you actually define and reflect this phrase, work locally and think globally. But sir, can we take questions of these participants with this?
Yes, you can take.
Sir, sir, one of the participant she asked that you have defined one term, that is asset bubble. So what it means, she actually want to know. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So bubble, this is dictionary meaning, sometimes we have so much climate assets, impact will not be much, and we are doing this, but finally we are not putting any money, we are not putting proper technologies, and it is like balloon or bubble, we are showing much but actually are not doing much. So people generally use synonymous with the asset bubble, looks better, looks fancy, looks good, but in reality it is not like that.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one of the participants, Suman Bhattacharya, she asked that is there any correlation of this climate change with the COVID pandemic?
There are two aspects. It's a very good question, because as far as climate change is concerned, climate change has two aspects in terms of the temperature and rainfall, and in terms of the air quality. Because in COVID time, there were very less movement on the roads, less and less use of the coal, petrol and diesel. So around there were observations that there was decrease of the greenhouse gases by order of 16 to 18%. During COVID, decrease in greenhouse gases are there. Air quality becomes good, like in most of the time, you say Delhi, Faridabad, like that. Air quality is good for last 6 months, but CO2 increase, so CO2 decrease was around 16 to 18%. But many people still believe that once these restrictions are removed, we will again be putting, or we will be burning more and more fossil fuel, more and more petrol, diesel, and using coal. And then because CO2, it is not like, say, life is not like a week, like aerosols. Week or 10 days life is there, but CO2 and other greenhouse gases, I mentioned, life is much more. If we continue this path for longer period, continuous decrease of the greenhouse gases or less use of the fossil fuels, then impact on climate change can be observed. But in short span, much change is not there.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, one of the participants, Pooja Mehla, she asked that these water vapors, these are also one of the potent greenhouse gas means effect is attached with these water vapors. But you have not mentioned these in your presentation.
Very good question. Actually, what happens? Water vapor is a greenhouse gases. It is a strong natural agent of the climate change. But when all these conventions started, they are taking human-induced climate change. I mentioned that these three gases, most and other chlorofluorocarbons, they are being emitted from the factories or use of the fossil fuels. So natural factors, they are generally not taken. So what is happening? We can't do much with the water vapor. But definitely, this is very important. Water is also a control of the climate. Say more water is there, it does not allow the temperature rise or fall very rapidly like soil is there. But because natural thing is there, this water cycle is there, we are getting, there is evaporation, there is condensation, there is rain, this is natural cycle is going on. So water vapor as such, it is not part of the any global negotiations. We are taking that it is as usual. We can't do anything to this, but to which factors people can do, only those factors globe is taking, and the negotiations are there. That's why water is not there.
Thank you, sir. Sir, one of the participant, Priyanshu Verma, she asked that I belongs to Bundelkhand region, and which is considered as drought prone area in India. And according to survey, the average rainfall should be means 800 mm, but since last 10 years, it is not more than 250 mm.
I don't think that this huge decrease is there from say 80 centimeter to 25 centimeter. It is too alarming. Some years, some period, there may be like drought condition or huge decrease of rainfall, but I don't think 1/3 has only remained. But this I also mentioned in my presentation, particularly central parts of India, MP, and around this Bundelkhand and Chhattisgarh and nearby areas. Rainfall decrease is definitely there, and that is cause of worry. But I don't think from 80 centimeter it has gone down to 25 centimeter. But definitely, I agree that in this part of the country, there is decrease in the rainfall. There is no doubt.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, we have civil engineering students also. So one of the students, Satyam, she asked that, is there any remarkable effect of on environment of recycling and reusing of building demolition waste?
See, I mentioned that because climate change is an integrated thing from the waste. If CO2 or methane, they are coming out. If you put in the dumps. If methane emissions is there or CO2 emission, there will be some impact. But all this building, if they are broken or buildings are pulled down, I don't think they are having direct impact to the climate. But remember one thing, cement manufacturing is source of the greenhouse gases. But directly building is not source of the greenhouse gases or CO2. So direct impact, I don't visualize much, except when they are in the dumps, lots of the methane is coming out, and you know that it is 21 times more warmer than CO2. In that context, impact will be there on the climate change. Otherwise, health impact may be there, air quality may be deteriorated, maybe decreasing or deterioration can take place with the lots of dust and other particles.
So we have also with us Professor Agarwal from Civil Engineering Department. He's the chairman of Civil Engineering and also the chair of this FTP also. So he has asked one question that is there any utility of pond in avoiding flood and water conservation? Means we have village. Sir, please unmute your. Yes, it is.
No, what is last line? Kindly, can you repeat last line?
Sir, we have ponds at village level. So is there any utility attached with these ponds in avoiding floods and water conservation?
Very important observations. Those were so important in our villages, ponds, and all these villages particularly. There were natural channels and we were having less and less floods. Nowadays, urban floods, every year, there are lots of problems. They were, I sometimes use word lifeline. Those ponds were lifeline of our system. We have destroyed them. सब जगह घर बन गए हैं, पक्की सड़कें ऊंची ऊंची बन गई हैं. एक छोटा सा एग्जांपल आप सबने देखा होगा, 2015 में गुड़गांव में 24 घंटे का जाम लग गया था रोड के ऊपर, जयपुर हाईवे पे. लोग 24 घंटे पानी में खड़े रहे और रेनफॉल क्या था, 4.5 सेंटीमीटर. कोई भी एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकता 4.5 सेंटीमीटर रेन से 24 घंटे का जाम लग जाएगा. इसका मतलब हमने जो नेचुरल चैनल थे अपने, सबको बर्बाद कर दिया है. जहां पानी थोड़ी सी रेन होते वहीं खड़ा हो जाता है. कुछ हमारा मीडिया भी वहीं के फोटो दिखाता है. जो पॉन्ड्स, वो कंसेप्ट जब तक हम दोबारा नहीं लाएंगे गांव में, इवन सिटी में भी नहीं लेके आएंगे, हमारी प्लान में नहीं होगा, हर साल फ्लड का समस्या बढ़ती जाएगी. तो उस चीज को जो हमारे पुराने समय से चलती आ रही है, इंजीनियरिंग सॉल्यूशन में एक उसको इंटीग्रेट करना पड़ेगा कि कैसे लगाएं. देखिए डिमांड बढ़ गई है, पॉपुलेशन बढ़ गई है, घर बनाने, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं जो भी मन करे अनऑथराइज्ड और कोई प्लान नहीं है, कुछ भी बना देते हैं, पानी खत्म हो जाता है, बरसात का वहीं खड़ा रहता है. हमें नेचुरल ड्रेनेज रखना पड़ेगा. पुराना जो कंसेप्ट था हमारे गुरुओं का, भारत तो एनवायरमेंटल गुरु ही रहा है, उसको दोबारा अपने प्लान में लेना पड़ेगा. आई थिंक डीन साहब का बहुत ही अच्छा ये पॉइंट है और इसको मोर एंड मोर फोकस हमने रखना पड़ेगा.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have one question. Can I ask? Yeah. Sir, actually,
Yes.
you talk lots about these technological interventions. So, means we are now focusing towards electric vehicles also. So, is it not means polluting? Means transferring of the pollutant from one side to another side, like for generation of electricity we again depend on these thermal power plants, which also emit various kind of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, and simultaneously to store that energy we require batteries, and batteries are basically hazardous in nature. So is it not transferring one pollutant from one side to another side?
Good idea. Government of India has constituted a special committee to address this issue. इसका क्या करें? हर आदमी यही कहता है ठीक है, यहाँ से तो हम बच जाएंगे. बैटरी जो है वो भी एक बहुत ही, जिसको जो वेस्ट है, डर्टी वेस्ट जिसको कहते हैं, अगेन यहाँ आपने 10 साल 20 साल यूज किया, आपने सोलर पैनल किया, बैटरी को डंप किया, उधर से CO2 फिर चला गया. वी आर पोल्यूटिंग अगेन द एनवायरमेंट. बट देखिए हमने नॉन कन्वेंशनल पे जाना है. वी हैव नो ऑप्शन. CO2 निकलता है कोल और डीजल से, उसको हमें कम करना है। बट आई मेंशन कि जो हमें सोलर व्हीकल्स है इनकी क्वालिटी को देखा 2010 या 2000 की टेक्नोलॉजी के बेस पे हम नहीं सोच सकते, हमें हर साल इंप्रूव करना है। और जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी आ रही है इनके वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट को, बैटरी मैनेजमेंट को, इसके ऊपर इनोवेशंस कहिए, न्यू इन्वेंशंस कहिए, हमें करना है ताकि इसको हम कम से कम हार्मफुल बनाएं। लेकिन जो ऑलरेडी एक जिसको हम कहते हैं ना दुश्मन दिखाई दे रहा है, उसको तो हमने खत्म करना ही करना है। जो ग्रीन हाउस गैसेस निकल रहे हैं उसको तो निकलना है। दूसरा दुश्मन जो बैटरीज का डिस्पोजल है, उसको हमें किस तरह उसको दुश्मन बनने से पहले या बहुत खतरनाक बनने से पहले उसको कैसे रोक दें, उसके ऊपर बहुत सारा ध्यान देना है। मतलब अलग अलग लोगों के सॉल्यूशंस अभी तक बहुत कंक्रीट, आई शुड से जो मैंने मीटिंग अटेंड की, कई सारी सॉल्यूशन बहुत कंक्रीट नहीं, लेकिन स्मॉल 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 सॉल्यूशंस आर देयर, हम ये करेंगे इससे कम होगा। एंड डिफरेंट प्रोजेक्ट्स गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट दैट इज सपोर्टिंग कि इसमें ये किया जाए, इसको सेफ डिस्पोजल ऑफ बैटरी किया जाए। आई एम होपफुल सम गुड रिजल्ट्स विल कम आउट, लेकिन उस दिशा में हमें करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन आज की थ्रेट को तो कम करना ही पड़ेगा।
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, one of the participants, can we take another question?
Yes.
Because time is almost running, so.
No, okay, you take, please.
Sir, one of the participants, Himani Kantiwal, she asked that, is it right to believe that agriculture sector today is the biggest contributor towards the greenhouse gases?
नहीं, देखिए तकरीबन 60% जो हमारा GHG comes from the energy sector और 20% या 18% के आसपास एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर से आता है। पर्टिकुलरली इसमें जैसे रूमिनेंट्स हमारे एनिमल्स हैं प्लस पैडी, दीज टू आर द मेजर सोर्स ऑफ द मीथेन। और जो एनिमल वाला है, जो ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज मेनली आर फ्रॉम मीथेन, CO2 नहीं आता, बट टोटल जो है ग्रीन हाउस गैसेज हम इक्विवेलेंट लें तो अराउंड 60% इज फ्रॉम एनर्जी, देन 18 to 20% agriculture, then waste, and so many small 5%, 10% different sectors are there, but these are the two sectors. Agriculture not in number one, but it major sector 18 with 18%.
Thank you so much, sir, for addressing the queries of the participants, and it's a live session actually. Means you have addressed so many queries, and means without fear, these participants they drop their queries. So thank you so much, sir. And now I would like to invite Anita Girdhar ma'am to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for joining us today on this faculty development program on green technologies and environmental sustainability. It is really wonderful to have your presence in this program. You have shared a lot of data on temperature variations, rainfall pattern, and several research papers related to the climate change assessment in India as well as at global level. Thank you for giving such an informative and meaningful presentation. I'm sure this, along with the technological interventions on energy efficiency improvement and the carbon capture which you mentioned, as well as the challenges which are there before us, these would have invoked many thoughts in the young minds. I hope the participants would be benefited from this talk. Sir, you have always been a source of motivation for us and hope to continue in the future too. Thank you, sir, once again for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully this presentation is very much beneficial to everyone which is present in this session. So, and also thank you for the attention of the participants, and we will resume our next session after lunch from sharp 3. So all the participants are requested to join the meeting 10 minutes before the next session. So if sir permits, then can we end this session?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, bye. Thank you.
Can we end this session?
Yes. Please announce for the next session and then take that.
Yes, next session is basically about the nanotechnology and
it is nanotechnology and environmental sustainability, and would be delivered by Professor Neeraj Dilbagi, So the participants are requested to join 15 minutes before the start of the session, so